This is Fedora 29 with the LXQt 0.13 desktop. This came out about a month after Lubuntu came out with its first official implementation of LXQt, and it also uses 0.13. But every implementation of that desktop is different. There has been an LXQt spin of Fedora for some time, and it also still offers an LXDE spin. So that's one difference. Another difference is in the software included. Let me go over that briefly. Under Accessories, this just has Arc, Clipper, and PCMan FM-Qt File Manager. Under Graphics, it has LX Image and Screenshot. Under Internet, it has Falcon and Q-Transmission BitTorrent client. Under Programming, it has Enki, which is a programmer's text editor, and Qt5 QDBus Viewer. Under Sound and Video, it has Pulse Audio Volume Control, Pulse Audio Volume Control Qt, Simple Screen Recorder, which I added, and VLC Media Player, which I added. By the way, I found it easier to install VLC in the LXQt version of Fedora 29 than I did in the GNOME version of Fedora 29. Under System Tools, I added Discover. It included Fedora release notes, the Qt terminal drop-down, Xterm, and nm-tray, which is probably the network manager applet. Under Preferences, it has LXQt settings, and of those you only have desktop and OpenBox settings. You have Appearance, Brightness, Date and Time, Desktop Notification, File Notifications, Firewall, KDE System Settings, I'll explain why that's there, Keyboard and Mouse, Locale, Monitor Settings, Network Connections, OpenBox Configuration Manager, Power Management, Screensaver, Session Settings, Shortcut Keys, Users and Groups, DNF Dragora, and DNF Dragora Updater. Under About LXQt, this is simply its version 0.13.0. Under Leave, it has Hibernate, Leave Again, Log Out, Reboot, Shutdown, and Suspend. Then it has Lock Screen, which I'm not going to use because I don't want to lock the screen. And it has a built-in search bar. So if I look for Simple Screen Recorder, SIM, I have to click on this, SIM, find Simple Screen Recorder. All right, now, next time I open this, it goes to Simple Screen Recorder. It doesn't show me the other possibilities. This can be set either way. You can either show them all or you can show the last search. So I'm going to change that by right-clicking on the icon here and go to Configure Application menu. And under Clear Search upon showing menu, it's unchecked. I'm going to check it and then close it. So now when I click on the icon, it shows me the full selection, not just my last search. Now, I've had one big problem with this so far, and that is that DNF Dragora does not work completely. And this is the default package manager. I had to install Discover. You can see what happens there. In the GNOME version, Discover was the default, and I had to install DNF Dragora. Now, it always takes a while to populate. And now it's not populating at all, but I'm going to search for GIMP and then click on search, and it finds GIMP. All right, now one thing I don't like about DNF Dragora is that it's all stretched out here. So you can't see the whole window, and it keeps snapping back to that configuration every time I open it. But this is version 2.10.6. And notice that I have show x86 64, no arch only. If you don't select that, what you get is both the 64-bit and 32-bit versions of everything. And it just makes it more complicated. Status is it's downloading, but it never quite downloads. I click on this and click on Apply, and then I click on OK. It says here, applying changes to the system, and this is 0%. And if I come back in a half hour, it's still going to say 0%. It just never applies. So I assume this is going to be corrected at some point, but right now DNF Dragora doesn't work. So I'm going to quit that, and I'm going to go to the terminal. System Tools Q Terminal. I'm going to make this a little bigger. I'm going to type sudo dnf install GIMP. Press enter, enter my password, press enter. Is this okay? Y for yes, press enter. So now the installation is complete. I'm going to close this. And if I go to graphics, I now have GIMP. And it's version 2.10. So the moral is that if you want to install anything with the LXQt version of Fedora 29, and you have only the choice of Dragora or the terminal when it first installs, you're going to have to learn how to use the terminal. Now, as I said, I installed Discover, and I'm going to see if that works. By the way, notice there is no Office category here at all. And actually, I like that because these lightweight desktops usually come with GNumeric and AbiWord, things like that, which I don't use at all. And I have to uninstall those and install LibreOffice. So I'm going to install LibreOffice and see what happens. And I'm going to try using Discover. I haven't tried it up to now. So we'll see if it works. Click on Applications. I'm going to search for LibreOffice. So I have LibreOffice Base, LibreOffice Calc, LibreOffice Impress, LibreOffice Writer, LibreOffice Draw. By the way, you go way over to the right and left click and you get a little skinny scroll bar. Still looking for something, don't ask me what. But what I'm not finding is the LibreOffice meta package. And I should point out that I've added the RPM Fusion repositories. That's the first thing I ever do with any version of Fedora, because as far as I'm concerned, Fedora is useless without them. Since I can't install the meta package, I'm going to try to install something else. Let me look for Kate. This is the Kate Advanced Text Editor. If I click on it, I get more information. And there's a scroll bar at the far right that doesn't appear until you click on it. So I'm going to install Kate. It says it's downloading, and you can see there's a little progress bar, a little blue area. Now it's installed. So Discover Works. Under Accessories, I find Kate. Now I'm going to use the terminal again to install the LibreOffice meta package. System Tools, Qt Terminal. Again, I'm going to make it a little larger. Sudo dnf install LibreOffice. Press enter, enter my password. Press enter. Install 95 packages, 718 megabytes. Yes. I'm going to pause the video while this is going on, so you don't have to watch all 718 megabytes being installed. So now LibreOffice is installed. And you notice I now have an Office category, and it has everything but the meta package. You can't win, can you? Oh well, at least I have LibreOffice, and I was able to install it all at once. Now, like LXQt in Ubuntu 18.10, this does not initially support window snaps. Let me open Kate, since I just installed that. If I drag it to the left, drag it to the right, etc., it doesn't snap. If I drag it to the top, nothing happens. So you may recall that I had to do a second video about Ubuntu 18.10 in which I installed the XFWM4 window manager so I could get Windows snaps. However, things are slightly different here. If I go to Preferences, Session Settings, I see that OpenBox is the window manager. However, if I use the drop-down menu, I also have the choice of KWin, which is the KDE window manager, and also KWin X11, which I'll get anyway because I'm using the Xorg display server. So I'll click on KWin and then close. Now it says some settings will not take effect until the next login. Okay. So now I'm going to have to restart. So I'm going to end this video, restart, and start another video. Now I've restarted with the KWin window manager. If I open Kate, now it snaps to the upper left, to the left, to the lower left, to the upper right, to the right, to the lower right, to the top, and if I open PCManFM-Qt file manager, it opens in the available space to the right. And it also snaps if I want. Snaps to the border, but it does not snap to other windows. I'm not sure if I can change that, but I'm going to look into it. I want you to notice a couple of other things. The window decorations have changed. And they've changed to the KDE style of window decorations. Also, I had 4 workspaces enabled, but now I only have 1. They call them desktops. So I'm going to have to go into that KDE system settings. Now, some of these work and some of these don't with LXQt. Let me go to Desktop Behavior, Virtual Desktops. I'm going to increase the number of desktops to 4. Then click on Apply. And you notice down here on the left I now have 4 desktops. Under Desktop Effects, I'm not sure how many of these can actually be adjusted here. I'm going to get rid of some of these and see what happens. Zoom. I'm going to leave in background contrast. This involves semi-transparent windows. I'm going to get rid of blur, desaturate unresponsive applications, fade. Login, maximize morphing pop-ups, screen edge, highlights a screen edge, sliding pop-ups, translucency, window aperture. Log out, minimize animation, dialog parent window. Slide. I'm going to leave desktop grid. And present windows. The reason I do that is if you want to see the minimized windows and the desktop grid, you have to include present windows. And I'm going to click on apply. Now when I press Control F8, I get the desktop grid, but I want to have 2 rows. So I'm going to go back up here. To desktop behavior and virtual desktops, and I'm going to change the number of rows to 2. Click on apply. Now when I press Control F8, nothing happens that's any different. So let me see if restarting will change any of that. Well, I restarted, but it appears that that doesn't help. What I found was the system simply does not remember the number of rows I entered. I've tried this several times. It simply does not remember. I installed Kwin as the window manager to get window snaps. I really wasn't expecting to get the whole KDE Plasma experience. So I'm just going to disable everything here, just to keep the system as light as I can keep it and as fast as I can keep it. In that respect, I took a screenshot with only the desktop running and, of course, the QTerminal and the free utility. And this screenshot was made with the OpenBox window manager, and the memory used was 383 megabytes. After I switched to the Kwin window manager, that increased to 432. As I've said before, these figures are subject to change depending on a large variety of circumstances, but it gives you an idea that Kwin did add a little more to my resource requirements. I could, of course, install XFW M4 as I did in Lubuntu, but since it came with Kwin, I'm not going to bother doing that. Now, just to look at the bottom panel here, in addition to the menu, I have these 4 workspaces. I have something that says drop applications here. That's the launcher area. So if I want to add Kate to that, I drag and drop it into the launcher area. And then I have Kate. I didn't mean to open it at the same time, but that seems to have happened. Now the prompt to drag and drop applications here has vanished, so you have to remember where to drag and drop them. If I go to System Tools and Qt Terminal, and I drag and drop that, that's now added to the launcher area also. And then, of course, you have the window buttons down here, the open applications, and this shows the open applications in all workspaces. So this could get a bit crowded. I'm not sure if there's any way of changing that. Now I'm going to close some of these things just to make things simpler. So I have Simple Screen Recorder in workspace number 4, and I have Kate in workspace number 1. Now suppose I want to move Kate to workspace number 2. With the XFCE and Mate workspace switchers, you can drag them from one little workspace symbol to the next. But they're not actually shown down there in LXQt, so what you have to do is right-click on the top bar that says Move to Desktop, and you see Desktop 1 is checked. So if I check Desktop 2, it moves Kate. It's no longer in Desktop 1, but here it is in Desktop 2. Now here I am in Desktop 3. There's nothing in there. If I click on Simple Screen Recorder, it opens up and I automatically move to Desktop 4, even though I started out in Desktop 3. So that's how that works. Here I have the Network Manager applet. This is the DNF Dragora update applet. This is my Network Manager applet. This is the battery indicator, fully charged 100%. This is the indicator that Simple Screen Recorder is running. I'm going to leave it running. This is for removable media. That's my external drive. And this is the volume indicator. Here's the time, and I can probably change that to time and date. It shows the calendar when you click on it. And on the far right is the Show Desktop icon. Now going back here to the DNF Dragora update indicator, I'm going to click on Check for Updates. Says 4 updates are available, but I know from bitter experience that the DNF Dragora update does not work. So I'm going to update with the terminal. And here I'm going to make it a little larger again. Fedora somewhat fudges the difference between update and upgrade, and some distributions there's a very definite difference between update and upgrade. But with Fedora, if you want to install updates from the terminal, you have to use the upgrade command. So it's sudo dnf upgrade. By the way, if you type in the name of an application, next you can upgrade just that application. So I'm going to click on enter my password. and it's installing the updates. Yes or no? Y for yes. Press enter. Complete. So the upgrade is complete. Close the terminal. Now when I right-click on this symbol, check for updates. Zero updates available. So that did the trick. Hopefully when DNF Fedora is fixed sometime in the dim future, you won't have to do that in the terminal, although actually it's probably easier to do it in the terminal. One more thing I want to note, if you look under DNF Fedora again, if you go to File and Repositories, you can see the included repositories. Not all of them are enabled. Fedora is enabled. Fedora Modular is enabled. RPM Fusion Free is enabled, and RPM Fusion Free Updates is enabled. RPM Fusion Non-Free and RPM Fusion Non-Free Updates. Fedora 29 Workstation supports modularity, and I do not know exactly how to implement it yet, so I'm not going to dwell on it. There is this modular repository. As I understand it, what modularity is, it allows you to keep an older version of an application that you may be using extensively while upgrading the rest of your system. I'm not sure how this differs from previous versions because there has been for some time a downgrade option. If the newer version of something contains bugs or just doesn't do what you're used to doing, you can downgrade to a previous version. I gather that this system is somewhat more extensive. You can change backgrounds. This is the same one that comes with all the other Fedora spins. Go to Desktop Preferences. There it gives you the file name of the background and where it's located. But there are no other options. So you could install a picture, for instance, in your Pictures folder and use that. I don't know if I can find an example here. I have this screenshot I took. That's about the best I can do. And now it's using that as the background. However, that's not the background I really want to use. So what I'm going to do here is, under Wallpaper mode, fill with background color only. And I'm going to select a new background color. What about this pretty blue color here? And click on Apply. As far as having icons on the desktop, I'm going to copy these things into the desktop folder. Now when I show the desktop, those icons are shown on the desktop. However, I don't want them there. Let me just take a brief look at Falcon, the default internet browser. One thing I like about it when you move to a new tab, you get your home page. That's something you can't do with Firefox. It takes me to a page I really don't like. I don't know whether there are things you can't do in Falcon. Seems to play videos okay. But I think Falcon shows a lot of promise, and it's much better than the old Quapzilla. So that's just a quick look at Fedora 29 with the LXQt 0.13 desktop. If they fix DNF Dragora at some point, I won't have any complaints about this at all. This is XRAM Tech. Thanks for watching.